At the same time, 2 marbles appeared on the disc. The manager was momentarily stunned. He had previously adjusted the tilt of the machine, which made it difficult for the marbles to reach the next level. But if he used centrifugal force, the chances of passing through the level would greatly increase. The audience below was excited. However, in the end, both marbles fell into the recycling hole. Mark's batch of marbles had also been used up. To his surprise, Mark pulled out another 10 million, although he already knew that the casino had tampered with the machine, tilting it further to his disadvantage. Mark remained calm, because everything was part of his plan. Even though the tilt had reduced the chances of passing the third disc, there was still a chance of success. In just a few minutes, the marble card that Mark had just filled was almost down to its last 200 marbles. Mark began to panic. He wasn't expecting to strike it rich, but just hoped that his luck wouldn't be too bad. However, even after using several dozen marbles, none made it to the final disc. Up to this point, Mark had successfully overcome several traps set by the casino. Now, it was just down to the final round. Suddenly, Mark noticed something. It seemed like he had seen a glimmer of hope for victory. This was the machine's fatal flaw. But unfortunately, the money he had brought was all spent on marbles, and the marble card had already been used up. Mark's mind went blank. The manager happily walked over to Mark, throwing the box of money out.
それがカジノの鉄則だ。お前はもう客じゃない。ただのもんなしのクズなんだよ。クズ、クズ、クズ、クズ！帰れ、近え! The game was over. Mark was escorted out. Watching the live broadcast, his teammates felt sorry for him. Was there truly no hope left? The next moment, Mark spoke up. He said that he still had money. The audience was shocked by his words. To their surprise, Mark turned around and walked aside with his 2 teammates.
まさか金を貸せってんじゃあるまいな。
あるまいなって、それ以外何が。
言っとくがもう金はない。もうこれ以上貸せる金なんざビータイしも。
After a short while, Mark returned, holding a stack of cash. This money was what his teammates had prepared for their escape route if Mark lost. But now, there was no way out. Even if he could escape with the money, his life from now on would be filled with constant anguish. Given the current situation, it was better to give the money to Mark. Moved by his words, his teammate reluctantly handed over the money to Mark, leaving a promissory note. Mark quickly signed it, took the money, and returned to his game. The manager, seeing this, began to panic. He immediately started checking each note carefully for authenticity. At this moment, the manager realized that Mark hadn't won before purely due to luck. But if Mark kept playing, it wouldn't necessarily be the same. He had to take action. When the ultimate weapon arrived, just then, one of his subordinates said something to him. The manager's face changed dramatically, and he immediately agreed to let Mark continue the game. Because the casino's ultimate weapon had arrived, Mark sat back down in front of the game machine. He took the last marble card and inserted it. Time passed slowly. The manager's smile grew wider. The situation seemed the same as before. So far, none of the marbles had entered the third disc. The manager walked up to taunt Mark, telling him that he had adjusted the machine's angle. Upon hearing this, Mark simply smiled. He said that he already knew everything about the ultimate weapon, but the double tilt would also have its downsides.
もう一つの現象。そいつを目の当たりにしたら。